Water golf.
Water golf.
Water golf.
Water golf.
Going into What the Golf, what I expected was that it would take the traditional golf game that we all know and parody it in countless humorous ways. And while that's definitely true, I was also pleased to discover that what started out as a goofy riff on a familiar game genre with cheeky jokes and an overabundance of puns eventually escalated far beyond what I could have anticipated, consistently one-upping its own creative absurdity as it went on. Dipping its toe into racing, puzzle solving, first-person shooting, and heavily referencing other games altogether. What the Golf ended up being a bit of a video game concept variety pack. And if you were to ask me what I think a modern, indie-made WarioWare game would look like, this is pretty close. The game's controls couldn't be more straightforward. You aim with either the analog stick or mouse, press a button to fill the power meter, and then release to launch. That's how you play the entire game, and it somehow never gets old. There's something about lining up your shot and carefully timing the release of your power meter in hopes of hitting your mark that's incredibly compelling, and it's fun to explore the different ways that you can iterate on that formula. The single-player campaign in What the Golf is robust, clocking in at around 11 hours to finish everything. You play as a golf ball that's making its way across a dense laboratory which serves as your overworld, broken up into 11 uniquely themed sections. You'll be hopping into levels 3 separate times in order to fully clear them, and earn yourself a crown. It's kind of like Mario 64. You need to collect enough of these to open up the path forward and access the rest of the game. When you re-enter a level, it generally takes the initial premise and adds a stipulation which is meant to make it more challenging, like trying to complete it under a certain amount of time, or with a limited number of strokes. But sometimes they don't have much of anything to do with the original challenge at all. Needless to say, What the Golf is always keeping you on your toes and never seems to stay in one place for too long. The visuals are relatively basic, using big, textureless blocks of color to make up most of the characters and environments. This art style is effective at keeping everything clean and readable. I actually really enjoy the look of this game. It's pleasing to the eyes, and there's a certain beauty to its simplicity. At first glance, the mantra of What the Golf seems to be that golf is boring and kinda sucks, so let's do anything but golf. But I couldn't help but get a sense of the developer's appreciation for the genre as you carry on. I mean, let's be real, you don't make a game like this unless you actually kinda love golf, or golf video games at least. What the Golf has such a light and playful sense of humor that's kind of infectious. There's just so much creative force put into every single challenge, right down to the pun they end it with. It's a jovial little title, one that's clearly built with care, and I'm confident that anyone who picks it up will have a good time. It gets a 4 out of 5.
What the